Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 9 Japanese cruiser Ibuki. It has 10 main guns, 8 secondary guns, 66 AA guns, 16 torpedoes, a top speed of 35 knots, total hull 39,000. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, reduce flood and fire chance, faster rudder shift. And for my commander, situation awareness, basic firing training, faster turret traverse, lower cooldown on damage control, advanced firing training, and concealment. We are on the map, the Atlantic. It's not Atlantic, it's the Atlantic. I think this is the first competitive match on this map that I have shared with you all. And right off the bat, don't go my Ibuki build. My Ibuki build is garbage. What you want to do, and what I'll probably do after this video, I'm going to spec out of lower cooldown on damage control. I'm going to pick up Superintendent because Superintendent is God tier. It's as useful as situation awareness, basically required. Secondly, for the modules, I'm going to have concealment purchase. I kind of forgot that I took concealment off this ship and placed it on my Mogami for ranked play. Concealment is just so helpful in ambushing those dirty destroyers. They think they have the advantage. Well, try and fight a cruiser at 10 kilometers range. Yes, you're going to die. And everyone's going to enjoy it. Especially those battleships because they hate your guts, man. Also, the gun mods, I love to go after main battery. Because I feel like outside of the Japanese destroyer, gun mods are really the way to go on pretty much everything. So I would get accuracy, and since this is Japanese, you can get accuracy and range increase. That's a nice build. I'm also considering rate of fire. Rate of fire is a huge advantage. Even if you're taking it off maybe a second or half a second, that adds up. That's a lot of extra damage, and maybe you can kill a destroyer before he gets torpedoes out that can assault you or a friendly. So that's just my 2 cents on my build. Please do not copy this particular build. I will be changing it. So, we are at sea. We also notice a Kiev. He pops his smoke, and he's a good player. So he's stopped at a smoke. He's not visible. Usually, they will flash again, and then I will punish that. But there's also someone on the capture point. So there's 2 enemy destroyers in the area, and I'm telling my guys, hey, 2 destroyers at sea. This might not be a good situation. And we just lost a destroyer to a detonation at B, so nobody is at B right now. And right off the bat, my strategy has failed. I went to an area where I thought I would have an advantage in capturing, and I was denied that advantage, so I need to retreat. And I'm retreating because it looks like at least 5 enemies, 6 enemies. Looks like a 7th is also headed this way. There's a majority of enemy ships coming towards sea. I cannot deal with this. I should not deal with this. And the best course of action is to retreat and possibly try another flank. Maybe pick them off with islands in the way. Whatever. Just don't give up the ship, Notser, because that happens too often. We have a pretty sizable force, though, over by sea. Just not big enough, I would say, to really fight them fairly. You have to kind of manipulate the enemy's ability to engage and angle your ship effectively. And there's, of course, 2 enemy destroyers firing from smoke. We fire at the only target that is visible, an enemy Iowa. We have HE loaded, and we're looking for fires. We don't get fires, but most of the rounds make contact with the superstructure, the perfect place for HE to land. The Kiev comes out of the smoke. Another battleship shows up, North Carolina. Otago. Still, someone is firing from smoke, and I wanted to fire on the Otago, but I actually fired with accuracy on that Iowa. We still hit the Iowa, but we did no damage. It's just, they were too close together, and yes, you're about to see the token Notser run into an island. I thought I was clear. I would have been cleared if I would have just gone straight, but I was turning away and I was too preoccupied with firing. So we caught the butt on the island. Thankfully, this is a really nice place to actually fire. The islands are really low, but they block enough to allow you to stealth fire. So you might consider another scenario around C using those islands to engage the enemy. I certainly learned some things when I was on this map. I've only played this map probably 5 or 6 times, so I'm still a noob when it comes to strategy on this particular map. We are, of course, engaging this Atago. He's showing a lot of his side, but we have terrible aim. Missing badly. But friendlies aren't missing. Looks like 2 battleships did a ton of damage. We're, of course, going to continue to fire, but we are spotted. And to my view, there's no way we could be spotted by any cruiser or battleship. There has to be a destroyer or 2 out in the open. Oh, you see that? Did you see that? I spied with my little eye a enemy destroyer, and it looked like a Fletcher. Notser, what are you doing? You just confirmed that there's a destroyer in a rather narrow area around C. Well, and there's another one. Okay, the first Fletcher appears to have sent torpedoes. He's sent both his torpedoes. Okay, we got this. This is easy mode. Kill this Fletcher and then move on to the next one. We're trying to rotate starboard, so we have all our guns pointed to the port side. And what is he doing? Why does his nose look like it's pointed directly at my ship? I think he wants to ram us. What? What are you doing? Why would you... Okay. He did a ton of damage, but obviously we survived. We were nearly full health cruiser. I'll take the Die Hard medal. We are able to, of course, survive and move off. There was an enemy Fletcher, and I don't want to deal with an enemy Fletcher this low health. So we use our heal, and we live to fight another day. Please don't ram a heavier ship. You're not going to kill him, especially if he's full health. You only want to ram if you can kill the enemy target. That's really the only time you want to ram. What could he have done? He was out of his torpedo systems. First, don't send both your torpedo systems unless you can confirm damage on the target. That was probably the most egregious mistake that allowed me to do a terrible strategy of running right at a destroyer. If you notice, I had committed to doing that before I confirmed the torpedoes had been used, so it was a very bad decision, too aggressive of me, and I was not punished for that. But obviously watching this, you don't want to do that. Now we're rounding the islands. We know that there's a Fletcher somewhere close because he was right behind the previous Fletcher. And I'm just trying to engage any target I see. I would really like to get that Baltimore. He is less than 10 kilometers away and he's showing his side. So we're setting up a shot. I think he realizes his mistake. And we fire everything. Now we switch to AP with the understanding that he will continue showing his side. Oh, juicy. 7K and 2 fires. He, of course, returns fire. He does pretty good damage with just his front guns. He is finished off by the allies. We sustain a little bit of damage from an enemy cruiser. This Colorado is pretty low, and it looks like he's going to sustain at least 1 torpedo. We fire our AP. It's not a huge deal that we're firing on a battleship and not ideal. We do a little bit of damage. 3K is okay. There's an enemy Fletcher. This must be where that Fletcher went. We're switching to HE preemptively for the Colorado, and it just so happens to be the perfect ammo type to take on the Fletcher. Now, of course, I switched to the destroyer because I feel like, as a cruiser, you need to kill every single destroyer you get your hands on. We're able to do damage to him as he drops into his smoke. Now, it's a little dangerous. I don't have hydroacoustic. I just chose to pop my aircraft in the hopes that it might scout out his location. And we see that he's blind firing, so we're going to try and engage anywhere around the location that I see the shots coming from. That enemy Fletcher is firing on from the Atago. He can't really prevent that. He's being spotted by an aircraft, and he shows up. I believe the Atago is within 2 kilometers, so we, of course, are going to fire on the Fletcher's position, and we do a ton of damage. We help kill him. Now we can secure B. The enemy has decided we are at C. This is where we're going to be. Okay, that's fine. We'll take A and B and win on objectives. We are being scouted right now from a cruiser's aircraft that was hovering over before he died. Enemy Otago, enemy Iowa, another enemy Otago, and another battleship. Don't know what battleship in the background. It looks like it might be in North Carolina, just from the icon. And I choose to use my defensive fire. I do this every time that I'm in a situation where I can kill a cruiser or battleship's aircraft, and there's not, obviously, the threat of a enemy aircraft carrier. And yeah, the enemy Baltimore's also there. So pretty much every single enemy ship is there except for the destroyer. The destroyer, I don't know exactly where the destroyer is. He is a Soviet destroyer, so there isn't a threat of torpedo attacks without being revealed. I choose to use my torpedoes on that Otago because he's the closest target. And I think that Otago actually sent torpedoes. Funny enough, there's no threat to torpedoes. Well, there's a threat to the cruiser torpedoes. And the Baltimore is showing so much of his side. He's going to melt under the overwhelming might of my team at B. And I'm just trying to assist in any way I can. We're not getting the fire that we would love. And there it is. The enemy destroyer is spotted out. They are all by sea. Every single one of them went to sea. Wow, it's just crazy. And we miss, of course. You should not miss these shots, Notser. In fact, you probably should be using AP on a broadside target like that, but you know, I can't make the correct decision every single time. Hopefully, I'm able to correct those mistakes and improve your game. Notice what my friendly aircraft carrier is doing. He's hounding that destroyer. He's planting an aircraft right over the enemy destroyer, and this enemy Otago showing a lot of his side. We fire on him. We get a lot of damage on him. We also set him on fire, and this should be his downfall. Just confirming. Just a quick look at the North Carolina. He puts out the fire, but he's really delaying the inevitable. He's out in the open, showing all of his ship. We're able to do 2K, set another fire. Friendly finishes him off. And yeah, they're just dropping like flies now. Just those two battleships, and I choose to send out my torpedoes. He will move into range if he continues on his course, and the enemy destroyer shows up, the Kiev. We're trying to rotate the whole ship. There is a threat of torpedoes coming out from this guy. He's close enough, and he chooses to use his smoke. Yep, here they come. I'm going to use the Otago as a shield, so I don't really have to maneuver that much. And I'm trying to... Yeah, see, they didn't even have range. That's the one weakness of the Soviet destroyers. It's just not useful. And he drops off completely. He does know we're there because we fired recently. And I just make a quick check, and not useful. But, you know, maybe he maneuvers. Maybe we get torpedo strikes like the Gray Baron in the user replay. I can hope, okay? And we're going to just go after this guy. I'm going to assume that he is not prepared for multiple cruisers moving into range and revealing him. Friendly Otago's already doing that, and I'm just making sure I'm in position with my guns trained on the smoke. Where are you? We lose a friendly destroyer, unfortunately. We're still well ahead. Where is this guy? There you are. Trying to run, I see. You vermin. You're not going to get far. All guns were pointing towards the port side, so it's easy to just transition them to the target. Of course, we completely miss with our lead. The Soviet destroyers are very fast. You need to compensate by leading them a little bit more than other destroyers. And while he's turning, we're going to chain fire just to get some splashes, and honestly, we do a pretty good job of landing a lot of shots on the target. We only missed the last salvo. We earned Confederate, and can we finish him off? I don't think I let him enough. First, we have great dispersion, by the way. Oh, barely miss. Oh, barely miss. Barely miss. Oh. Only the last shot makes contact. It's interesting. It's inverted with my first salvo on him. We get again. Oh, he's barely alive. Are we gonna get the kill? Yes, we get the kill. See you later, enemy destroyer. And that North Carolina, he's alive still, but the game ends. And our team is victorious. We earned 3 kills. We earned Die Hard, Confederate, 15,000 XP with all of the bonuses. We did 2,111 base XP. And we did around 60,000 points of damage. Not a lot of damage, but we were able to play the objective correctly and help our team win. I hope you enjoyed seeing the Atlantic map. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.